All right, here we go. I guess I'm back in the grind of things again. Uh, you know, like honing myself on a whetstone. Been gone for like a really long time. Uh, but I'm gonna try and keep it like steady content flowing and all that other fun jazz. Uh, that being said, we're here because of like two things. Number one, I want to like tell you all about like a story and experience that I had. Um, something that's like you know stuck with me for a good bit now, and I guess that's within good reason. And I'm gonna tell y'all how to get through, you know, certain trials in life, and hurdles that like everybody will inevitably experience. Um, like I said, that being said, I'm no counselor, I'm no professional. I'm literally just some random dude who hopefully can give y'all some advice on how to overcome life's obstacles and become a better person doing so. So, like, that being said, um, we're gonna rewind. So this is gonna go back a year to this day, um, and that would be my little brother's birthday. Today would have been my little brother's 24th birthday had he still be with us. Uh, yeah, it kind of hits home. I'm pretty sure y'all are thinking, wow, what did I stumble upon? But I assure you that if you hang tight and you take this video for what it's worth and you understand the content behind it and the theory behind it, it could potentially help you or somebody else. Um, long story short, like my little brother passed away 1 year ago, and me and him were inseparable. We did everything together, you name it. Um, dating all the way back, like I remember, you know, you know, Pokemon. I remember opening my very first pack of Pokemon cards for like $1.25 back in like 1998. So like I'm an old head. Yeah, me and him were pretty inseparable. You name it. Four wheeling, dirt biking. Hunting, fishing. Shooting guns. Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons. Um, Super Smash Brothers, Legends of Zelda. Uh, Halo is really big. Halo is a really big part of our childhood growing up. Can't wait for Master Chief Collection to drop. And the reason why I mention all these things, not to get distracted from my point, is that these are all things that me and my little brother we held very dear, and like looked forward to. Um, they sort of like became a part of us, like a part of like who we were. And if there's one thing I could say about him, it's that anything that I taught him, he became 10 times better at it than me. You know what I mean? Um, so like it was crazy. Uh, I remember I'd teach him how to play Magic the Gathering, and he would just kick my ass at it. I would teach him like how to play Dungeons and Dragons. His like rolls are always like naturally better. Um, you name it. Like he was just like an all star in every sense, and I was like low key envious, like a little jealous. Like I wasn't like terrible in school or nothing. Believe me, I tried. I did pretty good, but like he was always like straight A's. You name it. Very very intelligent, very intellectual, and charismatic. Always had friends. You know, I don't think this guy ever intentionally steered anybody wrong. And thinking back, there's a lot of things that I wished I would have got to do with him that I didn't have an opportunity to, or things that I didn't get to do as much. Um, Snowboarding was really big. Me and him were like, you know, president or like secretary of like the snowboard club at our high school, and it was awesome. the end goal of this little speech or this little motivational thing. Um, if you're gonna take anything away from it, uh, I want you to take away that time is it's very limited. Um, we all got to make the best of things, um, even when scenarios are shitty, because you never know what life hand will deal you. Uh, I kept a lot of like emotions like bottled up. Anger being one of it. One of the most powerful and you know detrimental ones. Um, and I want to say that I tried. Like I tried real hard to be like a mentor and a positive role model and an older brother for him to look up to. And I say that I succeeded, but I also failed because um, time, time was always against me. Time was always against us, and I guess it all started around the time we were in like middle school, high school. Um, I had plans to go into the Marine Corps, and like I was getting ready for that. I was getting busy for that, and he was sticking to academics. He was maybe considering the army. He wanted to do something maybe um, with like the Department of Energy, perhaps in the future. He was very, like I said, very intellectual. So um, anything we did together. And when we were kids, I tried to keep my little brother on the straight and narrow. Keep him under my wing and give him someone to look up to. And it felt good, even if I didn't really appreciate it at the time. Sure, we fought and like had our spats, and like, hey, no one's perfect. So um, that's just how life is. But like we stuck it out, and it all started around the time he was 12 years old or 13. Um, I started to notice like a change in the group of friends that he hung around with. Um, he became like sort of like less involved with a couple of his best friends. He became less involved with like me, and kind of like secretive about certain things. And uh, hey, you could call me what you want, like a old head or stuck up, or like I'm not a Bible beater or anything like that. But I sort of get like premonitions about things, and you know, he did what any like teenager would do at the time, and he hooked up with another group of friends, and started smoking pot and like underage drinking. So like me being the older brother at the time, I was like, hey, you can't be doing that shit, and I stepped up, and he didn't like that. We didn't have a falling out, but like I told his friends, I'm like, yo, I don't want you around my bro. Like I'll fuck you up. That's just plain and simple. And we went from there. Well, you can't really keep an eye on everybody at every time. So as the years progressed, um, I was nearing my completion of high school. He was 3 grades lower than me. Um, I was preparing to enlist in the Marines, and he he was still hanging around with the same like group of friends, but um, his studies never wavered. He always had straight A's, so that was like good on him. But I still tried to keep tabs on him, keep him under my thumb, and like just be that positive role model, be that big brother who only wants the best. Well, and then like home life kind of changed. Um, like obviously he got caught, and you know, that being said, you can imagine like all the drama and whatever happened from there. So you know, we we continued on with our lives, and me and him, we still always had a really strong bond. And I told him if you ever need anything, to always ask me, to hit me up. I'd be there, and I meant it. I'd be there in a heartbeat. And when I went to the Marines, like I knew what I was doing. I knew like what I was gonna do um, with my life, with my future, at least for the time being. But I didn't really understand what it was gonna do to my life back home, to my friends and family. Um, and that's where this video brings us. I'd like to say that like I now realize the phrase you don't know what you have till it's gone, and I didn't realize that you know I really had a little brother, or the importance of having one, until he's gone now. And it hits home, like it's like being hit with a sledgehammer. And I reflect upon it because at the time that he needed me most in life, I was away, and without without that big brother presence being in his life, he strayed and slipped further down a dark path, and he kept associating with people who were less than desirable, and uh, you know, the rest is whatever you make of it. I would come home on leave, and I would track people down. I would fight them. I'd beat their ass. It didn't matter. I'd be like, hey, quit fucking around my little brother. I don't want you in his life no more. Like I will fuck you up. And it worked for a little bit, but then obviously you got to go back to base. You can't constantly just keep coming home to fight people and check on things, no matter how bad I wanted to. And that that all sort of compiled, and he moved on, and everything was good. And then around the end of 2016, uh, he moved out to California. Uh, he was doing real good out there. I was nearing my contract with the Marines, the end of it, and I was planning on getting out. I had my GI Bill, Class A CDL, heavy equipment certifications. I was gonna go into the heavy equipment industry and work in earth moving or mining operations. And so I came home, and I wanted to rekindle, you know, the the relationship between like me and my little brother, and like I really wanted to pick up life where I left off, because for everybody else life kept moving. For me, like life stood still. It's almost like when you wake up, out of a coma, you don't really, realize how fast 4 years travels until you see it through someone else's eyes. You know, um, for us while we're in there, it's routine. Everything goes smooth and quick. And for everybody else on the outside, they have trials and tribulations, and life continues in a different manner at a different rate. Um, so that's a lot of things that I had to adapt to, and a lot of like family issues and like drama sort of compiled. Getting back to the point, you know, late 2016, I came home from the Marine Corps. My little brother was home from California, and we went snowboarding, and we had a good time, and really really meant a lot to me. It struck a special part of my person, and I cherish those moments. And then I had it a little rough. First year out, finding work was a little hard, but then I caught a break and I got a job with a heavy equipment company that paid really well. I ran that job for about 8 months, 8.5 months, operating various pieces of heavy equipment, and I kept telling my bro, I was like, hey man, you don't gotta live all the way out in California. Come on back. Come back home. I could get you here on this job. At the time, I was making like $48 or $49 an hour starting. Big federal grant prevailing rate job, and it was awesome. And I really wanted him to come on out, and life would have been good. But he insisted. He was out there doing his own thing. Life was peachy for him, and I was happy for him. He worked at like a rehabilitation center, and he worked with kids that had problems, whether it was like anger or substance or like run-ins with the law. He helped them out, and I guess they had like a snowboarding sponsor and like free lift tickets and stuff, and they did promotional videos, and they tried to keep the kids on the straight and narrow. So that was pretty admirable, and I respected that. Um, then so then the following Christmas, um, this would have been the winter of let's see, 2000 would have been 2018. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So the following winter, we got to go snowboarding together. Because we missed out in 2017. Or no, yeah, we went 2017, and we got some good pictures. And then in 2018, uh, we we didn't get to go because you know this day of last year, uh, I don't really know why, but for whatever reason, my brother uh he's up in like Boston, and then out of the blue he like got a plane ticket and he went out to Arizona. He said that he was gonna be um doing landscaping with one of his buddies out in Arizona, and his buddy's dad had a company, and they were gonna be all right, and they just got an apartment. And this was one day after his birthday, and they went out there, and within 12 hours he was dead from a overdose. And it leaves me wonder, and it leaves a lot of you know answers to be desired, and it leaves a lot of open-ended questions of like why it happened and how, and who could have changed this or foreseen this or whatever. And that's why I'm here today. And it really strikes a nerve with me because I understand now that time is precious and limited, and you know you only get one life. And he wanted me to go out to California, and I don't even know, maybe try to start a business or something with him. And that state didn't have anything for me, especially in my trade. And I never took the time out to visit when he was out there because you know Pennsylvania is just so far away, and I was always working. I was always busy. I was making money, you know, working like 60, 70, sometimes 90 hours a week. Um, Life was good, and life passed me by. Life steamrolled me, and I missed out on some of the most important moments that one could ever ask for, and that's you know having their brother be a part of their life. and that's something that I can't take back, and that's something that I can't change. And you know, that's that's just how life works. It's mysterious, it's very unforgiving, and it will strike you like lightning. So, the only thing that I can tell people or preach is you are your brother's keeper, whether that's your brother, your sister, a best friend, an acquaintance. Um, Family is family. Blood is thicker than water, and like we're all in this shit together. And I'm like I'm like a very strong advocate uh, for stopping, the use of drugs and substances. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I never hit a blunt in my life. Um, I'm really straightforward. I try to endure the trials of life for what they are, and that's shitty. And hey, let's be real. Sometimes it sucks to suck, but we got to put our pants on one leg at a time, and you know, recognize the task at hand, and keep on moving forward. Because if you sit in your own self pity, it'll wash over you like a wave of despair, and it will snatch your life away from you in one way or another. And time keeps ticking. It doesn't wait for no one. So the only thing I can recommend is, you know, get up, get out there. If you got a sibling, or a cousin, a best friend, family, if you got someone who you haven't spoken to in a while, hit them up. Like, hey, what's up? How you doing? How's life? You need anything? Like, a little bit of that goes a long way. Try to get to know people better, and try to get to know the people good. Um, Try to pick their brains, see what they think. Because we never really understand another person. Um, we don't know what their intentions are, or like what they're dealing with, emotionally, or maybe on a spiritual level. Maybe there's conflicting. Maybe they got demons and skeletons in their closet, and they're bottling them up. That they'll get out eventually. Believe me, it's happened to me. So you just need a person, you know, to share something with, and maybe that person, you know, needs the same thing. So the only thing I could really say is, just be a good dude. Like, really, just be a good dude. Don't get wrapped up um in yourself or in life so much that like the most important moments will pass you by. And you know I think about it every day, especially on today. He would have been 24, a whole lot of life ahead of him, and it was cut short because he chose to do some things that made him momentarily happier, made the pain go away momentarily. And I guess that was his coping mechanism, and it helped, and it probably helped for a really long time. But look where it got him. And not only did it rob him of life, but it robbed his family of a very valuable member, and a piece that we can never get back. So the only thing I could recommend is, um, fuck drugs. Like, say that, like, you know, we could say that. You could come in here, and you could talk mad game like you're top shit or something. But we all know where it starts. We're no dummies. Nobody starts out, popping pills or shooting up, out of the blue. Like, it always starts. It always starts with alcohol or marijuana. You know, hey, if you want to casually smoke, if your state legalizes it, 18 plus, whatever, by all means, be irresponsible. But I'll tell you right now, and you will never argue with me that it is not a gateway drug. It is absolutely. You're opening Pandora's box. You can get like philosophical with it. Hey, sometimes when you stare into the abyss stares back, and that's fucking true. Um, for a momentary high, for a little bit of time that you feel good, um, you don't know what the hell it could lead to. So if you could be straight and you could be clean cut, like just straightforward, live without it, I strongly recommend it. I'm 27, just turned 27 on the 27th, and it's a great feeling. Like I'm 27 years sober. I couldn't imagine going through life in a shroud or in a daze. I like experiencing everything for its base value, and I couldn't imagine experiencing the memories that I had with my little brother under the influence of something, because then they wouldn't have been real. They would have been clouded and shrouded and hidden away somewhere where I could never really understand and appreciate what they were. And now that I think back, it's something that I'll have forever, but it's also something that I'll want to have back and can never achieve. So if you know if you really love your family, or if you really you know confide in a friend, and you know you think you can share something with them, or they can share something with you, reach out to one another, give each other a helping hand, uh, because sometimes support is it's few and far between, so we all got to rely on one another. um, if anybody who listens to this video or this recording has to reach out to somebody, um, by all means, I'm 100% available. I'm no therapist, I'm no psychiatrist, but what I am is I'm a real ass guy, and I can listen to what you have to say. I can listen to like what you've been through. Chances are I've been through it. Chances are I've experienced something similar, or I've got the opportunity to sit down and hear someone's story that might be similar to yours, and we could get through like life's struggles together, because life's too short to be bitter and angry, and it's also too short to live it in a fog. Believe me, it's if you can look at each day through clear eyes, and like just feel life for what it is, in my opinion, and in my personal experience, it's very powerful, and there's no better high than it, than just knowing that you're you're going into each day with a positive outlook, even if it's hard. Like, time won't stop for me or you, but what happened yesterday fucking happened. It's done. It's gone. So we got to make each day better. So don't let the errors of the past, you know, overwhelm you, and stop you from achieving your future. But if you need like a helping hand, or somebody to listen to what you have to say, or maybe something that you want to tell somebody, if you can't find no one to tell it to, reach out to me. You know, name in the description. If you got to hit me up on Discord, same exact name. That's going to be hashtag 4617. Um, anything you tell me, I 100% keep confidential, and I delete chats, or I delete groups, to ensure your confidentiality. And I want you to understand that uh, there's people out there that care, and there's people out there that are willing to listen And if I can't help you with something, there's other people that can do anything I can do exceptionally better. Um, reach out to your friends and family, and if they cannot understand what you're going through, um, hey, come back to me. We'll figure it out together. I'm just one man. I'm not a miracle worker, but I can try. Uh, so maybe we can help each other out, and maybe if someone out there is influenced by this message, perhaps one day you can be in my shoes and you can help someone else. You know, one hand washes the other. Like they say, um, if you fall down, you got to get back up. But sometimes it's good to have a hand there to help lift you. You know, um, all I'm gonna say is I'm gonna end this with a safety brief for the weekend, and that is as follows. Remember, kids, stay in school. Don't do drugs. Always listen to your grandparents. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, take a picture. Oh, and if you find yourself in jail, establish dominance quickly. All right. Um, hey, stay humble, be real, and if you need a hand, be sure to reach out to me. Cause if you can't keep something inside, eventually it'll find its way out. So take it with a grain of salt. Stay headstrong, and y'all have a good weekend.